When I needed affection, when I needed attention this week, when I was transparent enough myself to say that that's what I needed. So I acknowledge you for being that spot on with my needs this week.
I want to demonstrate what affection looks like. It goes
fluffing.
I have just increased the oxytocin in Maria's brain.
Excuse us for a while.
And he's feeling, and oxytocin is that hormone that it's the feeling of being loved and belonging. And men, I think I talked about this before, men need to be hugged 2 to 4 times as long to produce the same amount of oxytocin in their brains. And so this is an important piece to really, because you see, shame is always there ready to come up, and that defensiveness is ready to come up. And this is kind of this is the antidote for all of that. This is what creates the safety, because I am relentless. You may have noticed, and I may be frightening some of you who are listening, I don't know. And because I really will stick with it until I get it.
Yeah.
And my goal is always to be in compassion and in love and respect and in curiosity and listening, because I know if there's a burr under the saddle. I used to ride horses. It could be a tiny little thing, but it can rub a horse raw, and you can get thrown off from that tiny little burr. So I'm always interested in what's going on, what back up to that, what's going on, the
relentless part. Here's something that I get, what's in it for me? What's in it for me about that is I can't trust my own GPS system for either that emotional touchstone sometimes, the piece that I need to get to that I don't know what it is that it would pull back to if I pulled it back all the way. So the relentlessness of you searching helps me get there. And part of that, so that's one thing, knowing what it is that's kind of underneath it all. But also, if, like many people, or if the person doesn't have a good GPS system like I do for knowing what's going to be fun today, what can I do today to increase my joy? What can I do today to decrease my suffering? And if I don't know the answer to that, I happen to know that you are a impeccable listener and help and advocate for knowing what I can do. Yeah. So that sounded like another acknowledgement, but it's also why you need a partner who can see what you can't see, because you're looking out of those eyeballs. You're looking out of those eyeballs, and you can't turn them back in. So that's what I really love that you do for me, but what's in it for me?
Well, I want to say 2 things, and one of them is I just want to speak to women out there that if you're doing this, can you see that if you get down to that burr under the saddle, that I'm afraid I'll disappoint you, I'm afraid to ask for what I want, is it really okay for me to be happy? I mean, there's, it's gold. It's gold when you discover it. But when your man or your partner reveals that, if that is a sacred moment, and if you use that moment against the person, you
made it.
I mean, it's just, and I've seen people do that. They're so angry at each other. They've been carrying all this stuff for so long that, boy, when they see a little vulnerability, they pounce on it with their claws. And so if you are in that kind of situation, you're going to need some outside help. You might need us, as a matter of fact. We're doing Ask a Coach. How do you like that? Did you like that? How that went in?
Oh yeah, and for those listening now, let me give you our one of your rewards for the day.
Uh-huh.
We gotta throw them a little M&M. Uh-huh. So here's one of the Yiddish witticisms to take home with you today. Here and now, probably the only time you'll hear this today. Mit einer Tuches kemenisch gehen auf zwei Chasenes. Translated, what does that mean? With one tushy, you can't go to 2 weddings.
And what does that mean?
Keep focused on one thing at a time, baby. You can only do one thing at a time.
Well, and I also want to say, because
Non sequitur. Can you say non sequitur?
This is an example of me being relentlessly vigilant with an open heart. At least I hope that's what the example is. It is what the example is. I'm not gonna take that down. That's crap what I just said. So, but I also want to say that we do take turns. That's one of our agreements. And so when I get into a place of fear and doubt, I'll say to Murray, say something wise to me. Just speak from the place of, please speak from the place of mystery, because right now, and I need you to do that. I really do need you to do that for me right now. Speak to the place of mystery. I auditioned for the Oprah